Welcome back to Food by Mark. I'm Mark, and this is how you can make the best, perfect pulled pork every single time you try. I'm gonna be smoking it at the end, but you don't have to. All you need is a sous vide. Welcome back to Food by Mark. Today, I'm gonna teach you how to make perfect pulled pork every single time you make it. All you're gonna need is a sous vide, and for this particular one, I'm gonna finish it in a smoker. If you have one, it's great. If you don't, it's still gonna be delicious. We have our Boston butt or pork shoulder, so let's get cooking. Pork shoulder already has a lot of intermuscular fat, so I like to start off by removing this very large fat cap, leaving as much meat on there as I can. This part right here is something that you want to make sure you get. It's very slimy on top of the fat. You don't want any of that membrane in there. So we're just gonna kind of cut that off and be done with it. This pork shoulder is now trimmed up to my liking. This next step is very important. We're gonna remove the lymph gland, which can give you a very bitter, kind of nasty flavor. Right here on the blade of the scapula, and then where it's a little bit smaller on this end, sometimes spherical, sometimes just stubby, we're gonna come through and draw an imaginary line down this and come over to this very fatty segment in the back. And I don't mind slicing into my pork shoulder before I barbecue it, but there's a vein. I don't want that in there. A little bit of an artery. It's a little bit different in every single animal. I found mine to be right here, but this is the lymph that we're trying to remove. You can tell it's the lymph because if you compare it to the color of the meat, it has a very light grayish hue. Sometimes it can be green, sometimes it can be yellow, but the easiest way to tell is to give it a whiff, and they smell horrible. You do not want to eat that. But this is all ready to get some dry rub on it. For this pork shoulder, I'm going to keep the dry rub real simple. We have 1/4 cup paprika, 1/4 cup brown sugar, 1/4 cup granulated garlic, about a tablespoon or so of black pepper, and for salt, I like to do 1 gram of salt per 100 grams of meat. With this being around about 8.8 pounds, I have 39 grams of kosher salt in there. This is going to be roughly 3.5 tablespoons. Let's rub it in. Now we season the flap we cut to remove the gland. Get that all rubbed in. There is our finished product. Let's get this into a vacuum sealed bag and throw it in a sous vide at 165 degrees for around about 21 hours. My sous vide's up to temp, 165. Get that pork shoulder in there, and I will see you back in 20, maybe 21 hours. It's now the next day. Pork shoulder is ready to get put in the smoker. We're gonna strain off the juice. It's left in the bag. Get the shoulder on a tray to move out to the smoker. This juice is going to become part of our sauce that we're gonna put right back on the pork. Let's go outside and get smoking. This is my father's custom-made parrilla. It's an Argentinian cooking grill. I'm gonna be using this to smoke today. I have coals and wood chips offset on the left side. That way I can have a more controlled temperature on my right where I'll be smoking. We got the pork shoulder ready to go in. Let's get it. I'm not gonna tell you how to smoke this because if you have your own smoker, you're probably dead set on your own methods of smoking, but I will recommend to smoke this at 225 degrees and periodically come through and mop it with 2 parts apple cider vinegar, 1 part water, just to keep the outside moist and keep the meat from drying out. We're going to reduce all of this juice down. It is a little bit gelatinized because of all the cartilage that broke down from the sous vide process. This is basically stock at this point. That bone in there and all the cartilage breaking down. We're going to reduce this down. That way we have a very concentrated flavor for our sauce. This is the juice that we saved from the sous vide bag. I put it in the freezer to get the fat to come up to the top and solidify. That way I can skim it off with a spoon, because we don't want to put that fat back in with the barbecue sauce. We just want all of this flavor that's underneath it. So I'm going to skim this off real quick, and then we'll be right back to put it in a pot with some barbecue sauce. I've reduced this juice by about half. Now I'm going to go ahead and add around half a cup, maybe 3/4 cup of some barbecue sauce. I'm also adding a generous spoonful of the steam roasted garlic paste, mixing that in there. Let's get this pork shoulder shredded. Let's add that pork juice right back to it. Get every little bit in there, all that flavor. Just got done making this pulled pork. I got all that juice back in there. It's smoked, it's ready to go. Let's give it a taste. Damn, that's juicy. That is good. You're gonna love it. Cook it. Blow your socks off.
Intense. Intense is the word you want. It's fucking intense.
Any weird shadows on my face?
No, just. That's good.